take it away.
Hello and welcome to Glitch Point. We've been gone for a little while for those that actually continually listen.
Yeah.
Life is interesting, you know. Sometimes it doesn't all work out.
Yeah, and sometimes Windows says fuck your computer.
Oh yeah, that was the first one, wasn't it? That
Yeah.
was like,
Literally,
yeah,
I'm sitting on my computer, there's an update, and I needed to restart for some setting to get applied, because that's always fun. And it was like, well, you have an update, so you have to do this. And I was like, okay. And then it blue screened, and I couldn't recover it. I had to completely wipe it.
yeah. And that was like, and then I think I got COVID after that because I got COVID for the second time.
The second time?
You know, I got the shot, and I got COVID before the shot because apparently there's like a time period in which you need to let it sink in or whatever.
Yeah,
I fucking got it. I know, I got it in that in-between period. So it was weak.
Damn.
It was nowhere.
Were you getting did you get the Johnson & Johnson, or were you getting a two-shotter?
No, it was a two-shotter. I just, I don't know. I mean, it's such a political, mind fuck. Like, everybody says, oh, that one's good, this one's good. It's like, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, it's a shot, but
dang. The one-shotter's good. Yeah, so that's probably why I delayed a little bit, and then I went out of town. So... But we're back, you know. We will continue this show on. We might have little, times where we don't make it, but we'll try to keep them to the minimum.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not like the world seems the same. There are. I mean, I guess I'll talk about my topic because when I read this, it really started. So there's two parts to this. Like, first, I think it's I first. Watched a video by a YouTuber who does 2-minute papers. For anybody that's in the educational field and really enjoys SIGGRAPH papers and stuff like that, this guy just basically reviews white papers, which is really cool because it allows you to be on the cutting edge of what's going on in development. But his last two papers were all about basically deepfake. So the first one was about deepfakes, which apparently they can get where you can deepfake a video within 2 minutes.
Damn.
So, which is scary. Yeah, was it 2 minutes? I probably have to look at it again. But anyways, I might be wrong on that number, but I think that's what it was. But really quick. So to the point where obviously if it becomes live, where you can just deepfake live video, which they kind of can, in a sense, but there was a lot more to this paper because basically it was allowing you to type in what you wanted the person in the video to say, and then it would change and it would say what you typed in instead of what they originally said.
Yeah.
And you could add smiles and stuff through text. So you could say change their facial expressions based off of text, and the whole thing was around trying to make it look accurate so that if they said something that was happier and the other video was sadder, they would change the expression of the face to reflect that. And I'm like,
wow.
It's just scary, man.
It is. What the fuck?
I know. And it's I guess, good things might come out of it, but I don't know if I'm ready for this world, I've stopped, when the telemarketers call you, I don't say my name or I don't say anything. I just sit there and wait for them to talk first.
Yeah.
Because I'm just waiting for the day where they're going to record my voice, synthesize my voice, call my mom, ask her for my social security card number, and freaking take everything.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's why I've been such an advocate for privacy and shit the past couple years. It is starting to get out of control.
Yeah.
And yeah, deepfakes are very scary. I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's a solution. And it seems like there's going to be so many problems that come from it.
Well, I mean, we have time because it still looks bad. It doesn't look great, but the fact that they can even do it, it's just going to keep iterating and keep getting better. And yeah, it's crazy. I mean, just to be able to do it with machine learning and all that kind of stuff, it's how much, they're reducing the amount of data that you need. So the other thing was in this paper, the amount of data you needed to do it was highly reduced.
Yeah.
So you didn't need a big data set, which is even scarier because that means people can really easily do it. But yeah. And there was also the second paper that he did was he showed the cutting edge of basically generating human faces. So or generating a human likeness that doesn't even exist. So you can just generate one out of a. So basically, it's just machine learning. They just take a sea of images and they, like he showed like how it would go through all the images and then it would interpolate the face to all the different faces that it could make.
Wow.
Yeah. So you don't even need a person. Like you can. There was a movie way back in the day where this model was like invented by a corporation and then she became famous. And it was like, they used holographic imagery and all sorts of stuff. I mean, movie bullshit. But
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting to there where, I mean, there might just be fake YouTubers and fake people. Like, why do you need the headache of a rock star I mean, half those people all their music's getting written for them anyways. So what the fuck? Just generate the person. You don't have to pay them anything. You take all their money. It's like crazy.
Yeah.
It's like
especially on like Twitch and.
Yeah, I mean, who cares? All these like YouTube. I mean, there's probably gonna be fake YouTubers that are owned by basically synthetically created by corporations to make money.
Yeah, well, I mean, with how many YouTubers it seems these days are getting into some legal troubles, at least those ones won't be.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe that's the only way you can tell is if they're screw ups.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I don't know. It turned me the wrong way, and I was like, damn, that's insane. So I wanted to share that on the show because I definitely want people to be aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the world's gonna be beautiful with like the tech and like being able to like go into synthetic worlds and like the way that we are going towards Ready Player One. But then it's also gonna be frightening like Ghost in the Shell, which is another reference, but which I don't know if you've seen that. You should definitely watch it. But there's an anime, Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, where it's set in the future, and then the big thing is in that show they're able to hack people with augmentation. So like people have augmented eyes, so they can be have AR VR experiences, and then there are hackers that come around and hack their bodies and like take over their brains. But anyways, that's way off the subject. But yeah. Very cool stuff, man. I mean, it's insane. I hopefully we figure it out.
Yeah, and speaking of like fake stuff, Xbox, and something we've talked a lot about on this podcast in the past year, is Xbox is definitely trying to go against scalpers for their Xbox consoles.
Oh, nice.
And it's something that they definitely don't listen to the podcast, but maybe they do because we totally recommended doing this on the podcast a while ago, which was letting people who already own Xboxes go through a program on the console to buy it. And they're doing this for the Xbox Insider program. There's a thing called Console Purchase Pilot where you can like go into your Xbox and register to buy one when it comes in stock there, and you get priority. And it's really hard to put a bot on a console, so they're trying.
Well, they were selling all sorts of stuff, as well as like headsets and controllers, so it makes sense. And that's how it should be. Give me half a second. Hold on a second. Sorry, I was hot. I was in a sweatshirt.
It's all good.
Yeah, no, but yeah, no, it's good. I think it's definitely getting it into their ecosystem, and it definitely protects them, from a lot of the crap that's going on. And I don't know. I mean, we need to get out of we need good solutions.
Yeah.
And I'm not hearing any, and it's so funny. Like this is kind of what I want to hear about, like in the political system. I just want to hear good solutions to all these problems that we're dealing with on a regular basis. But it's not that.
It's starting to feel impossible. Definitely doesn't feel possible.
I think we can deal with scalpers.
No, we can deal with scalpers. I think it's kind of mind blowing that we haven't already.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just it's that game, right? It's the impossible game of cat and mouse.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think we'll ever get rid of scalpers. It's the bots that buy them. That like giving the scalpers these infinite tools is the problem, because we're never gonna stop. I don't think it's legal to stop someone from just selling something that they have.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, maybe that's where we need to go.
No, boy.
it's only once it's been owned, it becomes free. There's no secondary market, which I know
Jesus.
hate.
Yeah, that would really take a toll on my retro games, and by toll I mean
Yeah.
it would literally die overnight.
Well, they're not going to exist in 10 years anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm
They're,
sorry,
they're a
buddy.
dying breed, definitely. I'll enjoy it
Yeah,
while it lasts.
I just don't see it. I mean, maybe um I don't know, maybe.
It's a
But it's
question of are we self-sustaining, and I don't think so because I mean, we definitely like you see people getting into retro gaming on a more casual level all of the time when you see like different game consoles go up in price and different game generations games go up in price just because people get to an age where they can buy their childhood stuff, but we're starting to run out of those generations. Like I think the 6th gen right now is hitting that, hey, I played these as a kid and now I want to play them again, so those prices are going up. But like the 360 era, that's now we're starting to get into it's too modern for people to care to go back because those games are easily accessible on almost every platform now.
yeah.
So yeah, no, it's gonna die at some point. I just don't know
Well,
when or how.
I think the positive part about it is I think because of the transition into digital, like the games that are lost are the ones that came before we really had marketplaces and all this like infrastructure that's now, at least if the servers stay up, the games survive, right?
Yeah,
Which is nice. Where I think that the games that like GOG is going after and trying to revamp and bring back, it's a nightmare. Some of the games are like almost impossible if the code got lost or it
yeah,
just you can't. Where at least if they're all digital and everything's on a server and we just hold up those servers and just hopefully have backups. I mean, hopefully when they shut down the servers for a lot of these like PlayStation's doing, they keep the games. I mean, I wouldn't imagine why they wouldn't.
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
might not be able to access them, but at least they could re-release them, and we'll hopefully see them in the future. But then, what if Sony goes out of business? Then what happens then? I guess they sell all their games, so then someone else,
yeah, someone I
Microsoft,
guess would
yeah.
take it. I mean, I don't know. Like that's a big question of like what does Sony archive? Because if they shut the store down, like why keep an archive? And,
Well, I think that's
well, I
what you
know
buy,
why,
right?
but what do
Like
you
you
mean?
buy the intellectual properties at least. And you
Oh, like
probably,
Sony
although,
owned games, yeah.
yeah. But then what? All the archives, but. I would imagine that the servers that those are on is part of the infrastructure, and the infrastructure is part of the sale.
Yeah.
The buyout, maybe. I mean, are the physical buildings part of the like? Does Microsoft own Bethesda's buildings, or does Bethesda still own their buildings, but then they don't own their company?
Uh, well, I mean, does Bethesda own their build? Like, that's a question of like, did Bethesda own the building? Because they could have just been leasing the building.
That's true.
Um,
They could have been leasing,
from
but then
some random dude. But if they owned it, then yeah, when you buy a company, you get all their assets.
yeah, okay. So, but if you're leasing the servers, then that would be problematic.
Yeah.
But you get all the data on the servers, so you're able to probably back it up. If you're Microsoft, at least you have the space to migrate it over to your ecosystem. I would hope. I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless they like, wipe it all out because they're sour bitches.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, emulators are great for archiving the actual games, and some of them will not be 100% the same. But I don't. My question is like, consoles only have like a limited lifespan. Like, the actual hardware inside of the NES is gonna just die at some point. And I mean, I can learn how to modify it and like keep repurposing it, but like, I don't know how long the retro game scene will last.
Well, I mean, your biggest
The
argument
collecting part.
up to this date, yes, but your biggest argument up to this date is the feel and play on a CRT TV.
Oh yeah, that's a whole.
Um,
That's a whole
you know,
thing.
but there are emulators that have attempted to emulate this.
Well, I mean, it's
And
you
right?
can't 100%. You can never emulate a CRT unless you have a CRT. That being said,
Yeah,
I can hook up a computer to a CRT and get those benefits. So like, yeah, I can download an emulator, hook it up to CRT. So like, yeah, I don't need the original Super Nintendo to play Nintendo games on a CRT. So like down the line, 50, 60 years down the line, I don't need all that hardware. It's doable.
I feel like I disagree because yes, of course, the shape of the CRT will be lost, but if you really wanted to, you could 3D render that, and also like let's say what I think that people like CRTs is the low latency is just ridiculous, and I think that you can capture with newer technologies.
Well,
Um,
no, because like you always like with digital displays, you will always have latency. Like it will never go away. It'll be fast as shit. It is, but it will never go away. Whereas a CRT doesn't have latency because it's as fast as the speed of light. So like it's fucking fast as shit. But you don't have to process any of that data like a digital display has to take in the signal and then transcribe it to the display. A CRT doesn't do that. It just takes the signal and displays it directly. It's
yeah, but I
super
mean,
minimal, but there are some games that you're like, wow, it definitely is a feeling.
but to say like all you have to do is make it perceptibly there's no difference. So I mean, we're already entering into the 240 even plus hertz screens, and like the amount of refresh rate that we're demanding, especially because of the push with VR. The VR is really pushing refresh rates.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know. I think that it's not going to matter. I mean, I think that.
I mean, the
yes,
refresh rates will definitely get to a point, but we will never be able to not have lag. It's super minimal though. Most people will not notice it. Like it's really not like night and day. It's if you play a shitload of games, you're gonna feel it.
I don't know.
But it's not like
man.
a detrimental. I mean, the technology.
You're saying 100. You're saying 100 years from now, we're still gonna be
Well, no, that's like the technology.
clamoring for a CRT.
No, I don't think so. No one's clamoring for a fucking CRT. Now or ever, honestly, no one liked having a giant ass computer display. But like the technology behind a digital display will always have to have some sort of processing to display it. It's just that's how it works. Whereas CRT doesn't do that. So like unless we invent another CRT with no processing, it's never going to be as responsive. But no one notices the difference. It's super minimal, and you can play every game perfectly fine without it. Sometimes it's nice though.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know. I mean, I disagree, but I think there's like your brain can't track when it gets, milliseconds and even smaller. It's like you can't tell. I mean,
only game I've noticed it is Battletoads so far, and that's
really
only on the speeder.
Well,
bike.
I don't think we're to that
specifically
point.
The speeder bike.
Because we're still 1 millisecond, right? I mean, that's kind of the fastest that we, at least on the box. I mean, there are some that say under 1 millisecond.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could definitely keep improving that, especially with higher refresh rates. But I suppose because now there's more frames being shown, so then the as long as the input lag from the device or the I/O isn't causing the problem, you should be fine.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think we're going to return to CRT technology ever, but it's definitely a little bit of a novelty. And I mean, it's all fueled by nostalgia at the end of the day, so.
No, and I feel you. And there's something tactile that people will miss out on. The two things that I'm super sad about. One is the legendary box crap that you used to be able to get in games that you bought when you got the deluxe edition.
Oh yeah, it's dying.
No, it's been gone.
Some games still do it every once in a while.
Yeah, but I got one of my favorite one, even though it fell apart, it was cheaply made. But I got a figurine Big Daddy.
Yeah.
That was so cool. I was like, that's fucking awesome. And like there were things, and I remember the Halo helmet for Halo 3.
Oh yeah, that thing's awesome.
And then and it's just like a bunch of stuff like that where we just don't see that anymore. And why it made it so cool was those launches when you got it just made it even better because it was sitting in like you could decorate your house with the game that you loved and you were playing.
Yeah, the last one I bought was Sonic Mania when they had the Sega Genesis version, which came with like a giant statue of Sonic on a Genesis.
Oh,
it came with
awesome.
It came with like not a real cartridge, but like a Genesis cartridge, and it opened up and gave you like a gold ring, and there was something else, like a stupid little like metal card. I don't fucking know where that went, but the statue's badass, and it plays it actually plays the, I think Green Hill Zone. It plays some sort of music on it. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
There was,
what's it? Oh, go ahead.
The other one I wanted but I didn't get was Yooka-Laylee had an N64 version where I think it came with a cartridge.
Oh, really?
Like an N64 cartridge, and I think it was just a USB.
That's
inside,
awesome.
But like, there's some nice ones out there, but yeah, it's definitely dying, and I haven't seen one in a while that I'm like, oh, I want to get that. But yeah, they used to
Well,
be insane. Like, remember the Borderlands one that came with a giant fucking loot crate?
oh yeah,
That
I
was
do remember that.
insane.
That's really cool. Well, I just find now like because it's all digital. It's like they just give you and I those things are so stupid.
Always in-game garbage, man.
Yeah, and it's just like I don't even want it. Like because luckily we don't have pay to win, which is nice. So maybe you'll get a gun or some horse or something, but it's just like the game's gonna be fun anyways.
Yeah, and I mean, I hated when that started with games doing like, oh, buy the digital version, you get like an extra mission. It's like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, that kind of
Um,
stuff pisses me off. Or anything that gives you an advantage.
yeah,
Yeah, it's really annoying. But yeah, I mean, they got to give you something, and it is just a pricing model. I mean, it's so they can. I'm sure they get a lot of revenue from doing that,
I
but
mean,
it is
now
annoying.
so many of them is just like you get in-game currency, like that's it.
Well, I know that not Resident Evil, Grand Theft Auto does that. Like that. Well, I know that they're all about their in-game currency. They'll give you like, oh, you get 1 million online bucks or something, or
Yeah,
yeah, and it's like, okay, great, thanks.
uh-huh.
I just want to play the game.
I
Leave me
know.
alone. But speaking of my mess up, yeah, Resident Evil. Neither one of us played The Village. I think that's the only thing I'm excited about, honestly.
Have you? I okay. I don't know if I'm excited for this or not because I don't. I'm trying not to look into it too much because I want to play it. But have you seen the game Returnal?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, so I've
Yes.
heard like it's a roguelike. I don't know how much of a roguelike or if it's like a roguelite, which I usually don't really enjoy playing roguelikes that much. But I'm hearing so many people say this is like the first PS5 next gen game.
Yeah, no, yeah,
And
I've
that's
seen a lot of
exciting.
this
Oh,
one.
I mean, that's super exciting because I love my PS5. I want more reasons to play it. And I love that controller. And apparently they went balls crazy with the haptics on the controller. And
Nice.
I really want to get it. I think that's what I've started to get more excited about. But the game that I'm like, for some reason, over the top excited about, other than Halo Infinite, of course, is Battlefield 6.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
like I mean, I
Haven't heard anything about it.
loved. I didn't play much of Battlefield 5 and 1, but I love modern Battlefield games like Battlefield 3 and 4. And this one's going back to the modern era, and it's a next gen game. And I don't know, I just really love Battlefield multiplayer.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I do too. It's hard because it's big team type of thing, so it's like you don't know where the shots are coming. But it's definitely
Yeah,
real.
that's why I like
What
it.
makes so this is more what era is this in
It's
or what?
modern, so it'll be like
So it's
current
modern.
times, yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
love the Battlefield and Halo does this too. Like they're like the multiplayer of those two games. There's a lot of moments that you just don't get in other games, and I think it's mainly because of vehicles. Like there's a lot of like Battlefield only moments that you get playing the Battlefield multiplayer, and Halo
No,
does
yeah.
too. But I haven't. I'm excited. I really hope it's good, and it's getting announced probably in June with E3.
Well, the thing I always felt about Battlefield is they really put a lot of time to make it not accurate, but like when you get into the jet, it's hard to fly.
Yeah,
It's hard to use, and all the vehicles are really difficult to use, and also just you feel like there's a tactical element to it. It's not just like what is that? Not frag, mag. Yeah, I
man.
remember that game, Mag.
Oh God,
Did you ever
yeah.
play that? Yeah. Or it's just a sea of people. I mean, and even like I have to say, even Halo Big Team Battle, which I love the Halo series. I love Halo 5, and I don't really enjoy it, but I do like Battlefield because of the conversations that happen. But I think they need something more. I don't know if any of them have done this, but more of like a hierarchy within the people that are playing, so that it does seem like a little random when you die.
What do you mean
I don't know.
hierarchy?
So there's sort of obviously, and I actually think tried to do this, if I remember correctly. But like, you have generals, and so like there's people that are, and I don't know, maybe they do that. I don't have a lot of experience with the game, so.
Well, I know like
But
the main loop for Battlefield's like team structure, I guess, is they're really big, but you get put in a squad of like four.
yeah, but it's a
Um,
squad. But I mean, like, I don't know what everyone like. It's kind of like you see the other people going. I just always felt like it is a war simulator, so like
Yeah.
I just need the other. I need the other part of the war, the actual planning. Like
Oh, that's
even if
valid.
they did planning beforehand, like there was one person that won the last game, or it's like your top player or something gets to just draw freaking lines on the thing that only your side can see, so you know what you're doing. Like so it's not just like this is how every match starts. Everybody races for the vehicles, you miss them, you're like shit, and then you can't get around, and then you're like trying to run, and I don't know.
Well, it depends
Once
on the game mode. Like the reason I love Battlefield is because of their rush game mode. I'm not a Conquest person. Conquest is
okay,
okay because Conquest is their main like capture the points and it's just giant as
yeah,
fuck and whatever, and that's what most people play. But Rush is like it's attack and defend, so you like the map is built into like 5 segments and there's only one segment unlocked at a time, and you're like, okay, push, and if you get the objective you unlock the next part of the map, you got to push, and the goal is to just get to the other end and then you switch sides. That
yeah,
is what I love about Battlefield, because there's just a lot of like campaign feeling moments, and like
okay,
because of
that's awesome.
yeah, because it's like
Yeah,
there's been times where I'm like, oh, we gotta push, and like you start to feel that push in like the tide of war of like we've been pushing for 20 minutes and we've gained like a hallway, and then like you have a great push and like, oh shit, now we have this. Someone delivers the flank. It's definitely like you're a cog in the machine of war, and it's really nice, and
yeah,
that's
no,
what I miss.
I've definitely felt those moments. Like I think there was in the last Battlefield that I played, not one, but the one before it, which I don't know
I
what
think
was
it's
that.
4.
Yeah, 4. So there was a map that had like it had like these long hallways that you would go through in this like building. It almost looked like a prison, and there would
Yeah,
always be a choke point that like, and then you
yeah,
just be pushing against it. And like, yeah, that was a lot of fun because the fun thing was like you try to like sneak in on the side of the room while the firefight's going, just so you can get a little bit forward, so you can kill
yeah.
more people. And yeah, it's good. It just and it's really fun. I mean, if you have a lot of buddies, that are all, it's fun to like get into one of those boats and you're like riding around on the
Yeah, that's
boat and
good
like, yeah,
shit.
there's a great moments. I just think that it needs a little bit more like planning. Like I wish, even if it was simple planning, just like, you know, I don't know. I guess the game types work and then
Yeah, I mean, it's
they
also
propel
tough
you forward.
because there's team planning and squad planning, because a lot of the Battlefield it feels like your squad is the only. I mean, there are times where it's like your squad's the only people you're interacting with, and then other enemy squads, and like there's just all these other squads doing other things, and that's why I think Conquest I don't find as much enjoyment, because it's just like every squad is just trying to do their best and like win the game, so they're all just scattered around, and rarely you get those moments where it's like in Rush, it feels like the entire team is together. It just so happens that you spawn on your squad mates, but like you're always all doing like the plan is built for you. It's like, okay, we have 2 points to capture. That's the whole objective. Everybody knows it. And then there's nothing else you can do in the match. You can't just go like fuck off into the corner. There's like a small scale part of this map that you have to focus
Yeah.
on.
Well,
So,
you know what it was, and this started in Halo. Like when Halo 2 came out, and we started to play online games, and we started to, they were all gung ho about everybody on the team communicating with each other. Everybody's in sync. You could, and then the fucking kid
yeah.
with his mom like yelling at him, and just the really annoying people that if you were in real war, they would get you killed.
Yeah, yeah.
And so ever since then, it's like no one solved the problem, and we just like what we do is we squad up, and like now it's all squad based. You don't really know what the rest of your team's doing outside of your squad. It just something was lost, and I wish they would solve the problem, because I think especially for Battlefield, because I feel like Battlefield would be a huge difference if there was a tactical advantage across your entire side. Like people knew what was going on.
Yeah,
um,
definitely.
but it is great, and you're right. The moments are amazing, like especially when you get really good kills or you work together and you clear out a area or whatever. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, like just Battlefield and Halo, there's just moments you have in those where you're just like, oh, that was unlike anything else. And then like a lot of other shooters kind of fall into the same, like even Apex is a battle royale, so a lot of the battle royales you feel the same moments over and over again, but like slightly different narratives because of character abilities and stuff like that. So they're just
Yeah.
starting to just merge together of like, it doesn't really matter which one you're playing, you're getting the same experience. Just you might be better at one, or you just like one more than the other. And Call of Duty is always just, it's the same run around gun shit crazy. That's about it. Which sucked
Yeah.
because when Modern Warfare, the remake or whatever the reboot thingy launched, the first month was this phenomenal tactical shooter, and then they were like, "Oh, you don't want this? Okay, we'll go back to gun ho," and it's gone.
Yeah.
And now all they fucking do is Warzone. That's all Call of Duty is at this point.
Well, people actually really like it. You know, I mean, obviously they're following suit from Epic, and they're doing like basically with the zombies, they have like casted scenarios with the zombies, and then the zombies show up in different areas. I have not played it, but
I haven't.
I've watched some videos on it, and I get why people like it. And you know, that's the other, and zombie mode is amazing. So I think that's like one of the best experiences for what is it? What is that called? What is that mode type called?
Horde mode?
Yeah, horde mode. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's probably the best experience for horde mode that I don't think anyone's done it better. I'd literally buy the game just for that.
Yeah, I mean, for a while, that's why I bought Call of Duty was for zombies.
Yeah. So yeah, it's, you know, I think there's we need an evolution here. Actually, a game that I heard about so long ago, I just heard was coming out, which is, what is it called? Boundary.
Boundary.
Do you know, so Boundary was that space game that actually, it was before we ever knew each other. I was seeing shit about Boundary, so it's been a long time.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Is it even still coming out?
Yeah, it's still coming out. It's
Wait,
on Steam, coming soon.
So I see an announcement
not yet
trailer
available.
for January of 2021.
Yeah. So
Did
this
it get,
looked
like,
really
re-announced
interesting
or something?
I think it got re-announced, yeah, because it was. I mean, dude, that came out. What time did we start school? Like
2016.
It was before that, yeah. So like, yeah, it was before that. I mean, it was like 2015. Yeah, you know what? It plays with the equation a little bit, where I think if they do it right, and the videos I watched recently, it looked really interesting. Like they have like vehicles and stuff, and it actually looks very Call of Duty-ish and not floaty. So it's like, I'm actually really excited. I just want something different, you know, something that we haven't tried before. And even if this is only like for a little while, I'm still excited, you know. And I don't know.
No, I agree. Like, the shooter genre has gotten so. I mean, it was kind of going through this phase of it was all the same shit over and over again, and then Battle Royale was like a very brief moment of freshness, and then now it's like that's all there is for the shooters is Battle Royale. And like, I started playing Master Chief Collection again, and it's the same problem I have with just in general of like, I love those Halo games. I've been playing them for decades. I'm like ready to move on. And I want Infinite, and I played a little bit of Halo 5 too, and they did some newer things, but they were also following trends at that time. I want Infinite to do, like, I don't know what I want, honestly. I want them to have a classic feeling Halo, but do something fucking new with it.
No, it's true. And I mean, now that it's not like, I mean, yes, it's not fully open world.
Yeah.
But we've talked about this quite a bit. You know, I mean, it's just, I think that it's what they're doing is they're making areas so that they can expand. I think what they're going to end up trying to do is a little bit what Destiny did, where it just expands to bigger and bigger areas.
Yeah.
It feels like a Destiny thing to me.
Definitely.
Infinite.
I think the game was at its inception, I believe it was a Destiny-like game, and they've backpedaled. I mean, there's been a lot of reports about the development of Infinite and how it's kind of gone through a lot of different phases and has been very over-ambitious, but apparently that was one of the big reasons why they did the delay, was it was too ambitious, and they've since, like, kind of stripped it down to more of a core experience of, like, making that good. And apparently it's getting, like, good internal feedback, but who knows? We have like a month until we see that. So
yeah, you know, at least all I think what'll be most interesting about it is I think it'll rally a lot of people to start playing games again and start playing shooters with their friends. I think that a lot of people hold the Halo series as paramount because it was the first thing that a lot of us experienced, you know, that was so good. I mean, there were shooters before that, but not online shooters. And
yeah.
I mean, there were, but not like that. You know, it was a big evolution, and I think people still hold that. You know, even if they make a mistake, it's like people are willing to put in the money to see what's going to happen, and it'll bring a lot of people together. Which is, you know, I know that all my friends that I grew up playing Halo with are all going to get back on, and that's going to be fun.
Yeah,
if it's good. Hopefully it's good.
I know we really do need Halo at this. It's been, I just can't believe it will have, well, when it releases, it's 6 years between Halo 5 and Infinite. That's insane. That's the longest we've gone without a Halo, because usually it was on a 3-year, I believe. Yeah, every 3 years. So we've doubled the normal development time.
I think they needed it. I think they needed to refigure themselves out. Yeah.
It sounds like they needed it, because it sounds like even during the 6 years, they've gone through different games over and over again. So hopefully where they've landed, and I mean, they keep releasing the Inside Infinite blogs, which they've been releasing more and more screenshots, and it's looking fucking great.
I haven't been paying attention. Like, has anything interesting happened in the last couple weeks?
There's been, I mean, the screenshots were huge, because they showed some really great like landscapes and a lot of more of the Forerunner stuff. I feel like there was a lot more that they talked about, and I just haven't been able to remember it. Because, like, I've been, like, kind of following them, but at the same time, I'm like, I know it's a giant blog written by the developers of the game talking about the game, so it's like, I believe them, but it's like, I just want to see gameplay.
Yeah, no,
it's hard to be like, they one of the last things they talked about was their PC port and how much work they're putting into making it like a first-class PC port. Things with like ultra-wide support, super ultra-wide support, and doing things like, usually with ultra-wide, it's just like it cuts your vertical space and just gives you more horizontal, but they found a way to give you both. I didn't read too much into it, but it seems like they're putting a lot of work into the PC port, and they're like, this is the best PC port ever of any game. And I'm like, yeah, but it's, you guys are making it. you can't say that.
I'm sure they're getting tons of pressure.
My God.
Because, it's just, it's kind of the cornerstone of what Microsoft's trying to do, which is, the buy one, play anywhere.
Yeah.
We talk about this all the time, but I'm sure they're like getting the breath down their necks, like on this one. They're like, hey, you got to make sure that the PC community feels just as special as the console community. Because we want to make sure that they know, because the fucked up thing is it's really working. I know a lot of people that would just play PC, but they slowly like, all my games that I play on PC now I can play on the console. I might as well get the console for the TV, so I don't have to, because a lot of the other option is to like try to build a rig for your TV, which never looks that good. Because it's large. I mean, you could do a mini ITX or something like that, but then you don't get the power. It's like
I think people are starting to remember that consoles are fucking simple, and that was the draw to a console. Like, PC's been here forever. It's just that consoles were way easier to just like plug it in and go.
Yeah.
And I think the problem last gen was that it was plug in and go, but the console was so underpowered that it was just like a piece of shit kind of compared to PC. And now these new consoles are like actually where they need to be performance-wise.
Well, the other thing is, I'm sure on the console, like I have not, I don't know if it's up yet, but xCloud or is that you can play in the browser or on the console. I haven't checked in a while. Sorry, not the console, the PC. But on Windows.
I think it's either in like early beta or something, but like it's playable to some people on this planet.
Well, all it does is it like gives them a sample because it's that 100 games, right? And so they get to see what's in the ecosystem, and it's like, they're gonna say like, wow, I love the games they're giving me. What else is there, And they think, that's, and on both sides, like I actually hear about a lot of games that come out, on just the PC, and I'm like, I should try that out, because I obviously have the Ultimate account, so I can download the PC game too. So I don't know. I think it's gonna be really good.
And I want to it's just crazy where Xbox has been, because recently I've been starting to get back into playing Halo and starting to squad up with people I used to play with and like their friends. Because one problem I've been having with the battle royales is I love playing them and I love playing them with friends, but it's always that like you're limited to 3 people. Or like maybe 4, and it's just like there's always someone left out. Or like I want it playing with a full 8 of 4v4 in Halo or a full team, a big team, just hits way different than any other experience. So I'm starting to do that, and especially with MCC being cross-platform and Xbox's dedication to cross-platform Xbox Party Chat, it made life so easy. And like we brought in a friend of my sister's that we were playing with, and he had never had an Xbox in his entire life. Literally no Xbox. And we're like, well, just join the Xbox thing. He's like, well, I've never had one. I can't do that. And we're like, actually, you literally just download the app and it makes you an account right away and you're done. And it was like 10 minutes and they were already playing MCC with us in an Xbox chat. And I was on my console.
That's
absolutely
awesome.
Insane.
Yeah, no, it's going to work out so well for them. I mean, I only see good things for Microsoft. And everybody else is going to be chasing this. It's what we said, that I think that, you know, they were playing the long game all along, and now we're there.
And I mean, I think and something we talked about whenever the last time we talked on this podcast was Xbox at that time was rumored to be buying Discord, and we all were like, well, this makes a lot of sense. But it seemed like Sony either outbid them or had a better deal, but Sony and Discord had officially partnered up, and they're going to be bringing Discord to the PS5.
Oh, cool.
So it seems like that was their answer. I think Sony is starting to realize, like, the PC needs to be part of our ecosystem, and Xbox has their entire ecosystem figured out. So it makes sense that Discord would go to PlayStation.
You know, the thing is I'm actually really happy about that because PlayStation needs it.
Definitely.
You know, so like they're going to put more time behind it. They're going to make it's more special to them than Microsoft. Microsoft could have just bought it and done nothing with it, just taken the competition off the, so making sure nobody else bought it and used it, because obviously they don't want someone else to have a good gaming chat platform.
Yeah.
So, but I honestly know that Sony's going to use it. They're going to make it great. They're going to, make people happy. So yeah, and that's good.
I know there's definitely PC people out there that are like, I wish I could just have a single app to do all of the platforms, which Discord is, I guess, that app now. Well, once it goes to PlayStation, but it won't be on Xbox. So now they're stuck with, you need two things to cross-platform chat. But maybe someday we'll have, other than game chat, cross-platform chat between Sony and Microsoft consoles, but I doubt it.
Well, if that becomes the case, then there's a void in the system, and someone will fill the void to make, it's just the way that the amount of time it takes for voids to get filled these days. It doesn't take very long for somebody to come around and be like, hey, I can solve that problem.
Yeah, and I mean, game chat, I guess, is good enough. Like, I've played with PlayStation people with Xbox and like Call of Duty, and that was our solution, which was just to go to game chat. But it never is great. And I hope that Sony and Discord figure out a way to match the audio fidelity that Xbox has, because that is still unmatched.
Yeah,
I don't know what they do. I would love to know what Xbox does, but Xbox chat, hands down, sounds the best compared to any other over voice. Like, I don't understand it, but I love it.
Yeah,
and it works cross-platform. Like,
it
sounds better to listen to someone on a PC through the Xbox app than it does listening to someone on the Discord app.
Yeah. Well, maybe you've never run into problems, but I have had some problems cross-platform when people are on their PC, just getting connected and having it work appropriately. But I'm sure it'll all get figured out. It's probably that individual's PC setup, which is always the case. It's always Windows that gets in.
Yeah, fucking Windows and NAT, dude. It's piles of shit.
Microsoft needs to figure that crap out.
I had a lot of problems a couple years ago when they had first introduced it, but since then I haven't had much problems. And I usually use it about every day because I play Apex with people on PC. But
nice.
Yeah, it's a great cross-platform world that we live in.
So I have a question.
Yes.
And I told you I was going to probably talk about this beforehand, but the ViveCon, I think that's what it's called, came out, and so HTC Vives are coming. There's new HTC Vives coming out. Are you excited about this at all? Like, because I honestly love the DPI that they're giving. It's actually better than the Oculus Quest by quite a bit. It's actually better than the Index. One of the things I'm really waiting for with VR is that I can read text. And it looks like this might, because if you can read text, then I don't need a computer screen, and I can be in a VR world and do work as long as, because I know where, the keys. I don't need to look at the keyboard. So if I can do work in a VR world, I'm excited. And this looks like that might be it. Like, this looks like the jump that we're looking for. The only thing it doesn't have is eye tracking, which is a little problematic. But honestly, I don't know if that's going to be problematic as people think, but we'll have to try. But
well, I mean, I'm reading this, and this sounds fucking badass. Like, it's got
it sounds
2.5K per eye, 120 refresh. We know that. But the big thing is it's got 120 degrees of field of view.
Yep.
That's more than
Yep.
the fucking human peripheral.
Yep. I know.
And then they say the screen door effect is virtually gone, so I'll take that with a grain of salt. But I hope that it's gone. That is insane. That's the Vive Pro. They also released their standalone, the Focus 3, so they're also into that. For business.
Yeah, it's business,
That's,
enterprise.
What are you, Microsoft? Well, okay, but that's cool. I'm getting more and more excited about the PlayStation VR.
Yeah, it looks good, but it's never going to be this good. But maybe,
that's what I'm wondering, because like Sony really was advocating for this generation of like they want to be premium gaming, and that's why the Sony PlayStation 5 was so expensive and whatever. And I'm like, well, I want to see them take a huge step with VR.
Well, the biggest thing actually that you'll is the HTC, that these new Vives use the Series 1 Vive controllers. They didn't create new controllers.
Yeah, I saw that. That's
fucking stupid. Yeah, and maybe they will later on. Although it does, I think it's actually you can get the 6 hertz transfer rate, which is cool because it'll be wireless. Another really good thing.
Well, actually, no. Since the Vive can use the index controllers.
Oh, it can.
Yeah, because they use very similar.
Awesome.
I think that them and Steam use the same base station technology. So it says the Vive Pro 2 will slot into existing Steam VR setups, whether it's the base station 1 or 2, Vive wireless adapter, Vive controllers, or even controllers and gloves like the Index Knuckles. That's great.
Yeah, that is.
Then
great.
I don't even give a shit anymore. They don't need to do that. They don't.
Yeah,
need
but
to
there's there's so much room for advancement right now. There's like the stuff I'm seeing with pressure and all the stuff that's happening with like touch tile interaction with the virtual objects. It's like, please, why would you not update that? Like, why would you? I don't know. It seems like a lost opportunity.
I think Sony, that's where I want them. I don't think they're going to match the fidelity, but they've already shown the controllers, and they've already announced it's going to do all the crazy haptics that the PS5 controller does, which I really love, including the adaptive triggers, which are insane. So I'm hoping that Sony pushes forward on the gameplay and the interface of VR, because I think, no one's going to compete with HTC. They have the best displays.
But the other thing that's interesting is, and I don't know what the camera capture on the outside is, but there's been, I think it's actually one of those 2-minute white papers as well. But there have been advancements where like there was a physics simulation for VR recently that went viral, where you could play the piano with just your fingers. You didn't have a controller,
Wow.
So like it basically just video tracked your fingers so perfectly that you can play the piano, and I don't know what their cameras are, but maybe that's the route they're going. Maybe they're ditching the controllers, so there's no reason to go for them, which would be really awesome. Because honestly, that's where I want to get to, where it's just your hands. I don't want to, because you can do everything with it. I mean, hell, you can just do your finger to shoot a gun. Like, you don't need a controller to do that. But because right now it's what was that? It's all based off I think what the PSVR is doing is they have tracking that tracks your fingers, and so does the Index, right? Like it has.
Yeah, I don't know how Sony is achieving the finger tracking, but I think so.
Yeah, well, same with the Index. It's just It's what was that company that did that way early, like way before anybody else? It was like a little thing that went on the front of your HTC Vive, the original one. It was a sensor, and it would track your fingers.
I don't remember.
It was like early adaptive technology. Somebody tried to solve the problem, and I think that they're using all that in the other, something. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, they're calling it finger touch detection, and this is They say finger touch detection allows the controller to detect the player's fingers without pressing in on any areas where thumb, index, or middle fingers would be placed. So I'm wondering what that means, because like the Valve Knuckles has finger tracking in quotes, because it's not really. It's like when you're grabbing it, then they go in, and then if you squeeze, then they go in more. So and a lot of games don't do it well, and I've noticed it's honestly really difficult to hold the controllers in that perfect way to where all of your fingers go all the time. So I'm curious how Sony's doing it.
Yeah. Well, it has to be a step up. I mean, everybody's waiting for that. Um, that and the omnidirectional trackpad, or
Yeah.
whatever allows you to walk infinitely in all directions. Which, there have obviously been a lot of attempts to solve that problem, and also just movement. I don't know. No one's quite solved it the way I think that right now the way that most shooters do it in VR. Because I watched this one guy that talks about like a lot of shooters, but it's just where you point the controllers. So like where you point the gun, it moves where you look, and then you like can kind of do movements to move,
Yeah.
which is okay. Or you just use the D-pad to move around, which still makes me a little sick.
Yeah. I'm just every time I look at the controllers for the PS4 or 5 VR, it just doesn't make sense because like they're doing haptic feedback, which if you do that, it requires a player holds the controller to feel that haptic feedback. So I have to hold them, but then they do finger trackings, which means I'm letting go. I just want to I want to see it. I want to see it in action.
I'm sure they'll do, and they always have done really good peripherals. Like even the I liked the way that they did the move, not the move, but the what are the wands? Is that the move?
Yeah, it was a PlayStation move. They
Yeah, okay, so the
repurposed
move.
that. Yeah.
I liked it. I liked that you could buy all these plastic enclosures that they would fit in, and I enjoyed it.
It was
The
neat.
camera sucked, but because it wasn't wireless.
Yeah.
It's the
I'm wondering
worst.
what role. Well, I guess the camera will just because it seems that the headset will be tracking the controllers rather than the camera, which is nice. I think
Well,
that
they are
means.
no, but aren't they coming out with a new camera? I thought they were
Oh yeah, the
launching.
PlayStation 5 already has a new camera.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I'm sure that what they'll probably do both, which makes sense. They'll probably have the camera and in headset tracking.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
I,
you'll definitely need a camera of some sort.
yeah, I think the inside headset tracking will most likely be where the location of the controllers are, and just to make it a little bit another point of context.
Yeah.
But who knows, But the only thing that I don't like about the PSVR is it's only for gaming. That's why I think the new HTC Vives is really fun, is because you can use it for other programs like, chat programs or like things that you might want to do on your computer. I really like simulating the computer screens in a virtual environment. Like I just cannot wait for that because it just makes work a lot more interesting. Um, if I
Yeah.
could be on fucking Mars
I
or like have
That's
stuff
true.
in it,
I
you
definitely am
know,
more excited for AR computer screens, but VR computer screens are definitely cool.
yeah, yeah, definitely cool. Well, we'll see. I mean, it all just, I mean, because that's the biggest thing with you just can't read text.
Yeah.
it's it's not nice to do that. But all right. Is there anything else you want to? We got 7 minutes,
Did you see
buddy.
the Mortal Kombat movie?
No,
Dude, it's
I went out of
good.
town. I know it's good. Is it
It's
still in theaters?
it's maybe. I
So
know it's on HBO.
I can't do that. I want to go to an IMAX.
Yeah, that's fair. I went to see King Kong in an IMAX. The Kong versus Godzilla. That was badass. But oh my god, it was way better than I thought it'd be. Like it's a video game movie, so my
Uh,
expectations were low as shit. And
yeah,
I know some people gripe about certain things, but I'm like, at the end of the day, I don't want to critique the movie. It's a movie about Mortal Kombat, and the two things you want from Mortal Kombat is brutality and like more brutality, and that's all they did.
and a cast of actors that I've never heard of.
Exactly. Which the cool thing though is Kano steals the show, and apparently the actor that plays Kano was like that's his favorite character in Mortal Kombat as a kid. Like
Oh,
he
really?
loved Kano as a kid, and he kicked ass at the role. I loved the movie. I thought it was fan fucking tastic. I really want them to make another one.
Josh Lawson?
Yeah, I don't know,
Yeah, exactly. Wow,
but
this is a gaggle of people you're never gonna see again.
yeah, but they did really great. I mean, the guy who plays Scorpion is a pretty. He's been in a shitload of things. He's like that classic like Japanese samurai warrior dude. But good
Okay,
stuff.
yeah, yeah,
Good. You gotta see it.
cool. Yeah, I definitely will. I definitely want to see it in IMAX. It's just one of those movies that feels like it deserves.
Oh, it's so brutal. So I would definitely want to do that.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll take my girlfriend. She'll hate it. These are the tests you gotta make sure, and if they're a good girlfriend,
If
they
they
go to
love
Mortal
watching
Kombat.
people get ripped apart.
I can't see where it's playing. AMC. Does AMC do? That's the fake IMAX. I want the real IMAX.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the AMC. Some AMC's pretty good.
Are they?
Yeah, but it
Y-
depends. Where are you? Are you in
Yeah.
LA or are you still in Miami?
I'm in LA right now.
I'm sure there's a great one in LA.
Yeah, there's one amazing IMAX out here that I saw a couple of really good movies. But okay, here we go. Regal does IMAX. I like Regal.
Yeah.
Whatever. We'll figure it out. So are you gonna play The Village? Is that like you just
I
gonna
mean,
skip it?
yes, I want to. I
You
just don't know
scared?
if no. I just don't know if I want to play Resident Evil 7 first.
No, just play The
Um,
Village, man. Don't do that to
I've heard
yourself.
7 is scarier, but
Yeah, but you know what? You know what the thing is you're gonna burn yourself out on a horror game, and then you're not gonna want to play the. I used to do this all the time. I used to like, I'd be like, oh man, I missed the last one. I remember I did this for a God of War, and then I played the God of War before, and then I played the God of War that I was gonna play, and I'm like, I was tired of playing God of War by the time I got to the one I wanted to play.
that's funny that that's what that game did, because God of War is the only game that this has not happened to me. I was like, new God of War is coming out, like God of War 4. I've never played another one, and I was like, I gotta play them, and I booted up God of War 1, and I back to back to back played all 3 of them, literally like zero break between. I think I beat one and played it, and then started the next one right after beating it. And like that game you have the exact same combat in every single one of the 3. It's
You do,
like
yeah,
identical,
you do.
same combos, which is, in my opinion, was a good thing, because you just kind of like, you learned it and it was just whatever. And then I played God of War 4 right after that, which was different, but like that game just did not stop being enjoyable for me.
Well, no, I know, but I think that if you take a break between them, it's kind of nice if you play like different types of games, because it's there's something about like going into, you haven't played a open world game in a while, and then you play one and it's like, oh man, I forgot how awesome this is. And then but if you just play them back to back, like if you played all the I don't know,
No,
Grand Theft Autos in a row,
can't
or
play.
like
Oh god, that would be awful. God damn. But I can't. No, I can't do that. I will get burned out, and that's why when I'm like, I have no rush to play Resident Evil Village, and I think that's something that has definitely. It used to be when a new game comes out, I was like, I was so in like, I needed to play it, and now I'm just like, if a new game comes out, I'm like, I'll play it eventually. Still haven't touched Cyberpunk. But if I need to play
Yeah.
Resident Evil 7 first, it's not like I'm gonna play that then play 8. I mean, like, I'll play 7, and then maybe at some point when I feel like a horror game again, I'll play 8. But I have like no desire to play new games, it seems, anymore, except for Halo.
The only reason why Residential Evil
Residential Evil. That's a game.
Resident Evil is the Village is enticing, is because I can't remember the last time I played a horror game. So it's like it's the genre that I haven't touched in a long time.
I haven't.
So
I played
yeah.
Resident Evil 2, and that was like also like I haven't played a horror game in a
really
while,
good.
and then I played the remake of 2, and god damn, that game was so good. And I don't think I've touched horror since then. So, well, you could say parts of Alex were horror, but not really the whole game.
No, come on, man. I mean, I know what you mean, but I haven't played it yet. That's the other game I'm waiting on, because I know it's going to be great, and I'm just waiting to get a rig that I actually can.
Half
yeah.
of Alex is just absolute mash.
I know, but I just want it to look good. Like, I
No,
want it to look
100%.
good. I want it to play good. I was like, my rig's like super old for like all I live off of laptops, so I need to like.
No,
I don't know.
I agree. I will say Valve did a great job with the fidelity and graphics between high and low. In terms of like texture quality, is like not the biggest leap ever that I've seen. Like, it's definitely not potato graphics, but like there's a lot like atmospheric fog, and there's so many settings that game feels magical if you have them on. So I agree. Get a good grade.
Well, no, I mean it's always with what Valve does really well is they do these big scenescapes.
Yeah.
Where
God
like
damn.
the buildings are really tall, and like I remember with some of the other Half-Lives when I don't know what they're called, but they're like the machines with the long legs.
Oh my god, those things are
when they're
so
walking
awesome
through,
in Alex.
and you look up and yeah, I know they're there too. But like even in the I think it was in the chapters, when they did the chapters. And I'm like, dude, these things look amazing, and also just
those are the most mind-blowing thing in that game. There were a lot, but like you see them in Half-Life 2 now, and they are big, but they're way bigger looking in VR, and it's like insanely big. Like it's just like you're in VR and you're just like, literally never seen something that big before. Like you've
Yeah,
seen
no, I know.
cranes and you've seen like I have never seen a living thing do that before.
No,
in my
definitely.
life. It's so fucking awesome. And they hit that with you within 5 minutes.
No, yeah.
Oh.
It's I'm excited, but I want to see it because there might not be another game like, from Valve in a long time.
You're right. Yeah, they keep
So
saying like
I'd rather
we're making
wait.
more games, and I'm like, I'll fucking believe it when I see it.
Yeah. Yeah, Left 4 Dead, hopefully. I would love another
Yeah.
one of those, yeah. All right, we made it.
We did.
And we're going to be regular, we're not going to keep these hiatuses. We're back on the ball, so don't worry about it. All right, cool. We will see you next week, and thank you for tuning in.
See ya.